everybody, welcome to the session. Today we are going to talk about change of entropy of a perfect gas in a reversible process, in which let us consider one mole gas at pressure P and temperature T, and this gas occupies the volume V. Okay, so what I am taking one mole gas at pressure P and temperature T, and this gas occupies volume V. Okay, so now here let us give small amount of heat to the gas. So in that case, change in entropy can be written as, we know that according to formula ds is equal to dq by t, right? Change in entropy can be written as ds is equal to dq by t. Understand? So let us assume this is what equation number 1. So according to thermodynamics second law of thermodynamics, dq equal to du plus dw. So the amount of heat given to the system can be utilized in two ways. Some amount of heat used to increase the internal energy, and the remaining heat energy is used to work. So dq is equal to du plus dw. This can also be written as dq equal to du plus pdv, right? dq is equal to du plus pdv. So assume this is what equation number 2, right? So let us substitute. We know that here dq can also be written as, this du can also be written as dq is equal to cv dt plus pdv, right? So what is cv? Were specific heat at constant volume. Okay, du can also be written as cv dt plus pdv. Okay, so with the help of, let us substitute, assume this is what equation number 3, and substitute 3 in 1. Substituting 3 in 1. So what we get finally, ds equal to, we'll get there, ds equal to, right, cv dt plus pdv by t. Okay, so from this one, ds equal to cv into dt by t plus pdv by t. Okay, so we know that here pv equal to RT. So with the help of this equation, p by t can be written as p by t equal to, we'll get there R by V, and substitute this one here in this equation. Then what we get there finally here. So finally we'll get there ds equal to cv dt by t, okay, cv dt by t plus r into, yes, dv by v, plus r into dv by d. See, what is this? Change in entropy. So for example, entropy changes from initial state to final state. Then change in entropy can also be written as, this one also be written as, so sf minus si, entropy in final state minus entropy in initial state. So that can be written as, that equal to cv. Here temperature varies from initial to final stage. So here temperature can be written as here Ti to Tf and dt by t, okay, and dt by t plus here R, and volume also changes from Vi to Vf. So here we'll write dV by V. Okay, understand? Now, so integrating this one, what we get there, Sf minus Si, change in entropy, equal to Cv into, this can also be written as log Et, where the limits goes to here is Ti to Tf, and here also can be written as R into, here it is log E and V, and here also limits goes to Vi to Vf, and substitute limits. Then finally we'll get there Sf minus Si equal to Cv into, so log E Tf by Ti. Okay, Tf by Ti and plus R into log E Vf by Vi. Okay, so this is what change in entropy in terms of temperature and volume. Change in and entropy, change in entropy in terms of temperature and volume. Temperature and volume. So you have to remember this equation also. This is what equation number 4, and this is what equation number 5. Okay. So now what we are going to do is, so we have to get the entropy change in terms of pressure and volume. Let us see how can we get that one. Okay, so here we are going to see entropy in terms of pressure and volume. So let us see how can we get here. Right. See, from above equation, in this equation we know that Cp minus Cv equal to R. Right? Cp minus Cv equal to R. Let's assume this is 6. Substitute 6 in 5. So what we get there if we substitute 6 in 5, right? So we'll get there Sf minus Si equal to Cv log E Tf by Ti. Okay, and here it is Cp log E Vf by Vi and minus Cv log E Vf by Vi. Okay, so here, so in this equation, let us see what I am doing here. So in this equation, so we know that PV equal to RT, right? From this one, PF Vf equal to RTF, and similarly PI Vi equal to RTI. Okay, so from this one here, divide this equation, we get Tf by Ti equal to Pf Vf by Pi Vi. Understand? So substitute this one. So here, where Tf by Ti. So in the first term, okay. So what we get there finally here, Sf minus Si equal to Cv log E. Here you have to substitute Tf by Ti. Then what is that? Here it is Pf Vf by Pi Vi and the plus Cp log E Vf by Vi minus Cv log E Vf by Vi. Okay, so by adjusting this equation, we'll write Sf minus Si equal to Cv log E. This can also be written as Pf by Pi, and here we'll write plus log E Vf by Vi. This can also be written as, okay, here it is Cv, right? Here it is Cv, and plus Cp log E Vf by Vi minus Cv log E Vf by Vi. Understand? This term and this term cancel. Then we'll get Sf minus Si equal to Cv log E Pf by Pi and plus Cp log E Vf by Vi. So this is what change in entropy in terms of pressure and volume. Change in entropy in terms of pressure and volume. Okay. Next thing is, so how to remember this one? Sf minus Si equals Cv log E Pf by Pi plus Cp log E Vf by Vi. Change in entropy in terms of pressure and volume. Now, so the case is change in entropy in terms of temperature and pressure. So for this already we know that equation number 4. Entropy in terms of temperature and pressure. Entropy in terms of temperature and pressure. So we know that one equation ds from equation number 4. ds equal to CV dt by t plus R into dV by V. R into dV by V. Okay, so we know that PV equal to RT, right? So differentiate on both sides. What we get there? P dV plus V dP, that equal to R into dt. Okay, R into dt. So from this one, what we have to do? We have to make entropy in terms of temperature and pressure. We have to eliminate volume term. So that is why what I am doing here from this equation, P dV equal to R dt minus V dt. Okay. So from this equation, dV equal what we get there? R dt minus V dP by P. Okay. So substitute this term here. There. Substitute. Then what we get finally? ds is equal to Cv into dt by T. And what we get here? Plus. So here it is R remains same and substitute dV value. So what we get there? If you substitute dP value, then R into here R remains same and R dt, okay, minus V dP by PV. Okay, by PV. We know that PV equal to RT. From this equation, PV by R equal to T. Substitute there. Then what we get finally? ds is equal to Cv into dt by T and plus here we'll get there R dt minus V dP by, here we have the term T only. Okay, because PV by RT equal to T. So let us separate the term. What we get there? If we separate ds equal to Cv dt by T, okay, plus here R into dt by T and here it is minus V by T into dP. And one more V is there. That one also we have to remove. So by using PV equal to RT formula. Right. So by using PV equal to RT, we know that PV equal to RT and from this one V by T equal to R by T. And substituting, then we'll get ds equal to Cv dt by T and plus R into dt by T, and here it is, here we'll get there. What we get there here? Substitute R into V by T, R into dt by P. Now, so here entropy difference, SF minus SI. So what we get there finally? SF minus SI. See here. In this equation, take common ds equal to Cv plus R dt by T minus R into dt by T. Here specifically also in value, in terms of value, you have to convert it into pressure. We know that Cp minus Cv equal to R. From this one, we get Cp. ds equal to Cp dt by T and minus R into dt by P. Okay, then the change in entropy equation can also be written as, see there, how can we write? From this one, so SF minus SI equal to Cp. So taking integration on both sides, we'll get there log E Tf by Ti minus R into log E and Pf by Pi. So this is what change in entropy in terms of temperature and pressure. In terms of temperature and pressure. Okay. So this is the change of entropy of a perfect gas in a reversible process. Here we deduced three equations: change in entropy in terms of pressure and volume, in terms of pressure and volume, in terms of temperature and pressure, in terms of temperature and volume. Okay, so this is the topic. Okay, now our topic is change of entropy when ice changes into steam. Let us find out. We know that when the state of a system is changing, we know that a change takes place in entropy, right? So when ice changed into steam, how much change occurred in entropy? We have to find out that one. See there, to convert ice into steam, there are two stages. One stage is at where the ice is converted into water, and the second stage is where the water is converted into vapor or steam. So in this process, let us see mass of ice can be taken as m, small m. Okay, now here where the ice melts at a T1 degree Kelvin, and where water converts into steam at a T2 degree Kelvin, and where L1 is the latent heat of fusion of ice, where L1 is the latent heat of fusion of ice, and where we know that L2 is the latent heat, where L2 is latent heat of vaporization of water, Okay, so these things you have to remember. Where small m is mass of the ice, T1 is the temperature at which ice converts into water, and where T2 is the temperature at which water converts into steam, and where L1 is the latent heat of fusion of ice, and where L2 is the latent heat of vaporization of water. You have to remember these things. Okay, now, so when the ice melts at T1 degree Kelvin, when the ice melts, we know that ice is melting. When the ice is converting into water, we know that regular order, what the stage is converting order to in-order stage. When the order to in-order stage takes place, immediately its entropy also increases, right? So change in entropy in the first stage, here you have to remember, in the first stage, when ice melts into water and the ice converted into water, change in entropy can be taken as ds1, right? Change in entropy ds1 equal to mL1 by T1. You have to remember this equation. ds1 is equal to mL1 by T1. L1 is the latent heat of fusion of ice, where T1 is the temperature at which ice converted into water. So change in entropy ds1 is equal to mL1 by T1. Assume this is what equation number 2. Okay, next stage is what happened when the temperature increasing from T1 degree Kelvin to T2 degree Kelvin, right? When the temperature is increasing from T1 degree Kelvin to T2 degree Kelvin, so what happened? Its temperature also increases. We know very well. Its entropy also increases. So in the meantime, where the ice is converted into the steam, in the meantime also the entropy of water also increases. So in that case, and the second point is when the water otherwise I have to write when the temperature changes T1 degree Kelvin to T2 degree Kelvin, when the temperature changes from T1 degree Kelvin to T2 degree Kelvin, now the entropy of water, change in entropy of water. How can we write? Let us see. Change in entropy of water. Change in entropy of water. This stage is very important stage. Change in entropy of water, but the temperature is increasing from T1 degree Kelvin to T2 degree Kelvin. So in that case, we know that change in entropy can also be written as ds equal to, we know that where dq by t, that is what the entropy formula, ds equal to dq by t, but the temperature is rising from T1 degree Kelvin to T2 degree Kelvin. Okay, where dq also be written as ds equal to integral T1 to T2, where dq can be written as m mass of the water and c specific heat capacity, and where we will write dp, where a dq can be written as mc dt by t. Now integrating this equation, what we get there? We will get there mc log E, mc log E T2 by T1. Okay, T2 by T1. Assume this is what equation number 2. Equation number 2. And the third step at T2 degree Kelvin, now the water is converted into steam at T2 degree Kelvin, right? At T2 degree Kelvin, third stage here is at T2 degree Kelvin, water converts into steam. Now change in entropy can be written as, we know that ds3 equal to mL2 by T2. This is what equation number 3. Where what is L2? Latent heat of vaporization of water. ds3 equal to mL2 by T2. This is what equation number 3. So now the change in entropy for this whole process of conversion of ice into steam. Okay, so finally we'll write total change in entropy. ds equal to mL1 by T1 plus, here it is mc log E, here it is T2 by T1, and plus mL2 by T2. So change in entropy when the ice changes into steam. You have to remember this equation.
Yes, now our topic is temperature entropy diagram. So in this topic, so in the area of cycle of TS diagram, this area of cycle of TS diagram, this is what TS diagram gives available thermal energy. See there, this area of TS cycle, this area of TS cycle gives available thermal energy for useful work in a reversible process. Available thermal energy for useful work in a reversible process or cycle. Let us see how can we find out available thermal energy, right? For this, let us take first PV diagram and TS diagram. On the left side, this is what PV diagram. On the right side, this is what TS diagram. Simple. And we know that both cycles contain 4 stages. One is what isothermal expansion, adiabatic expansion, where AB line represents isothermal expansion, where BC line represents adiabatic expansion, and CD curve represents isothermal compression, where the DA line represents adiabatic compression. It's clear, you know very well. So what is constant during the isothermal expansion? We know that during the whole process of isothermal process, temperature remains constant, we know very well. So temperature at the initial stage is T1 degree Kelvin, where this is what T1 degree Kelvin, that is temperature during the isothermal expansion. Now, but we know that during the isothermal expansion, temperature remains constant. The temperature is how much? T1 degree Kelvin. But something is changing. What is that? Entropy is changing from S1 to S2. Entropy is changing from S1 to S2. Okay, you have to remember that one. And then the next stage, what is that? Adiabatic expansion. During the adiabatic expansion, so we know that something is constant. During the adiabatic expansion, temperature is varying, right? Temperature is increasing from T1 to T2. Temperature is increasing. This BC line represents this one, which is varying from T1 degree Kelvin to T2 degree Kelvin. When we are going from B to C, during the adiabatic expansion, temperature is variable. But something is constant. Already I told you, during the adiabatic process, entropy is constant, right? So in this process, now the entropy is constant, that the entropy is how much? S2. Entropy is constant, that is what? S2. Now the third stage is isothermal compression. See there, CD line represents isothermal compression. CD line represents isothermal compression. So during the isothermal compression, again temperature remains constant. Then the temperature is what here? It is what? T2 degree Kelvin, right? T2 degree Kelvin, and its entropy also changing from S2 to S1. It's also entropy. That means entropy is decreasing from S2 to S1, S2 to S1. And the fourth stage and last stage is what is that here? Adiabatic compression. During the adiabatic compression, we know that the temperature is changing from T2 to T1. Temperature is changing from T2 to T1, and also its entropy remains constant, and the entropy is how much there? S1. This line, both lines represents adiabatic lines. During the adiabatic, on the adiabatic line where the entropy remains constant. Okay, so this horizontal line represents isothermal lines at which temperature remains constant. Temperature cannot be changed, but vertical line represents adiabatic lines where the temperature is varying but the entropy remains constant. Have to put this concept in your mind. And now let us, we know that equation, that is what? dq, the entropy is how much? ds is equal to dq by t, and from this one dq equal to tds, right? You have to remember this formula. With the help of this one, the amount of heat absorbed by the substance during the isothermal expansion, the amount of heat received by the working substance from the sources can be written as Q1 equal to, and at which temperature it receives the amount of it at T1 degree Kelvin. So we write that T1. So what happened? Its entropy during the isothermal expansion. What happened? Its entropy is changing, right? Entropy is changing from S1 to S2. That means entropy is increasing during the adiabatic expansion. So during the adiabatic expansion, entropy is increasing from S1 to S2. Then the change in entropy can be written as T1 into here S2 minus S1. S2 minus S1. Right. Next, T1 equal. What is T1? See that T1 is here. T1 is here. So from here to here, this line, the height from here to here represents AF. AF into, so S2 minus S1. S2 minus S1. Here it is S2 minus S1. So S2 minus S1, that represents curve AB, right? S2 minus S1. So AB, AF into AB. This is the on the this area where S2 minus S1 represents AB at T1. So T1 S2 minus AB, where T1 can be written as AF. This is what AF into this is what AB. So it gives area, right? So from this one we'll write Q1 is equal to AB into EF. So if you multiply this one, these two things, we'll get there Q1 is equal to AB into EF. Area. So AB, EF, area. Okay, so assume this is what equation number 1. Now similarly, so this is what isothermal expansion stage. Now what happened? Adiabatic expansion stage where the entropy remains constant, nothing is changed. Therefore, there is no question about it. Nothing amount of energy, heat energy is received from the source during the adiabatic expansion, right? So next stage is isothermal compression. During the isothermal compression, what happened? The amount of heat is rejected. That means amount of heat is rejected by the working substance. It is given to the surroundings. So in that case, so how much amount of heat is rejected by the working substance can be Q2 equal to, same with the help of this equation. So at which temperature it is rejecting the amount of heat? T2. And what happened? It's entropy. During the isothermal compression, entropy is changing. So isothermal compression. So entropy is decreasing, right? During the compression, entropy is decreasing. So therefore, we'll write here, it is decreasing from S2 to S1, S2 minus S1. Okay, from this one Q2 can be written as T2. Where is that T2? Here it is T2. So So height from here to here. So that can be written as where df. So height from here to here is df into S2 minus S1. This line represents what? DC. Yes, DC line. That represents DC. DC. Then finally we'll get there. Area. What is that? Area DCEF. DCEF area. So this is what amount of heat received from the source by the working substance. This is what amount of heat rejected by the working substance given to the source surroundings. So this is, it represents, equation 1 represents area and the equation 2 also represents area. Okay. Now the resultant amount of energy, resultant amount of thermal energy available to do work. Resultant amount of thermal energy available to do work. You know that some amount of energy is received and some amount of energy is rejected. Then the resultant amount of heat energy we have to find out now. That is useful to do work. So how can we get this one? So Q1 and Q2. Then Q1 minus Q2. Resultant amount of thermal energy. Resultant amount of thermal energy. Thermal energy available. Thermal energy. Available thermal energy is what here? Available thermal energy can be how much? Q1 minus Q2. Let us subtract these two areas, AB, EF area minus DCEF area. Right, see there? AB, EF area minus DCEF area. See there? ABEF area minus DCEF area. So finally what we get there? Q1 minus Q2 equal to, we get there ABCD area. ABCD area. Okay, ABCD area. Thus, the area of the cycle on TS diagram gives the available thermal energy that can be converted into useful work. This area represents available thermal energy that can be converted into useful work. Okay. Now the efficiency. How can we find out efficiency? We know that efficiency can also be written as efficiency. Efficiency neta is equal to, what is that? Q1 minus Q2 by Q1. Okay. Q1 minus Q2 by Q1. So where Q1 minus Q2 represents ABCD area by, so Q1 ABEF area. We know that already, ABEF area. So this can also be written as ABCD area, can also be written as neta equal to ABCD. ABCD area can also be written as where AB into AD, right? AB into AD. AB into AD by ABEF. ABEF can be also be written as where AB into AF. AB into AF, right? AB into AF, where what happened? This one cancel. Finally, we have AD by AF. AD by AF. So AD is nothing but what here? AD. AD represents what here? AD represents T1 minus T2. T1 minus T2 by, so AF. AF is what there? T1. Right? So from this one we get N neta equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. So this is what efficiency. This is what efficiency of this TS diagram. Efficiency we found with the help of TS diagrams. So especially these TS diagrams are used in metrology departments, meteorology departments, and they are of great use in predicting defects in the formation of the engine. So with the help of this one, they are especially used in the meteorology department, and it is used to find out the defects in the engine, right? And also to check the efficiency of heat engine. With the help of this one, we can find out the efficiency of heat engine also, and to obtain the work of your value of the fuel used. Okay, so these are the applications of this TS diagram. Okay, with this we'll stop this chapter, thermodynamics chapter. Okay, so you have to remember I have to note down in the notebook.